Hey guys. Hello. Sorry, I was trying to find my lights. Welcome, welcome. We are doing chicken enchilada soup today, or tonight actually. So I'll wait till more people get on, but I already have everything kind of ready for you. So we'll just wait till some people get on. I got bread in the oven. Welcome, welcome. I hope everybody's doing well. We're gonna do chicken enchilada soup. I'm actually gonna make mine a creamy chicken enchilada. Hey Cindy, welcome. So I'm actually going to do not only chicken enchilada soup, but we're going to put it in a bread bowl like we did last week. I had a lot of likes about that. And then we're gonna make it a creamy enchilada soup, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If people get on, great, but I don't wanna hold people up either. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So first off, we're gonna start with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now I'm gonna use 2 tablespoons of the sun-dried tomato oil. So I'm going to use the oil from this because it has some herbs in it as well. So that's what I'm going to use instead of olive oil. But if you don't have that, you can use your olive oil. Okay? So we're just going to pour some of that in there. Get some of those herbs in there. And then we'll add the sun-dried tomatoes later. And we're also going to add our garlic. Depending on how much you make or how many people you're feeding, I put 4 garlic cloves in this. And then I added all my seasonings as well. So my garlic has been actually sitting in all the seasonings and kind of marinating in that. We'll let that cook up. Oh, everybody's good. Or everybody's good. Everybody's great. Everybody's getting on. You just shocked me a little bit. So guys, we're doing creamy enchilada soup. So if you don't want it creamy, then you don't have to do the heavy whipping cream. I love your pan. Oh yeah, you like that? So we had to put it that way because the studs didn't go the other way. So that's my pan rack. Thanks, Maya. Aw, Maya, you're so sweet. You always make me blush. So we have some oil from our sun-dried tomato juice from the jar. So I use the sun-dried tomato oils from this and about 2 tablespoons of that. And then I used about 4 garlic cloves. And then, so I'm gonna let that cook up. So I also already put in my seasonings, and I'll show you what seasonings I use. I use ground coriander, okay? The dried oregano leaves, and of course our smoked paprika, you gotta have that. I put that in a lot of my soups. Onion powder, ground cumin, just a little bit of chili powder. I don't like a lot of chili powder, so I don't use a whole bunch of that. And then I used a little bit of garlic powder. And I did not use garlic salt because there's going to be plenty of salt in the broth that we're going to be using. So I already put all of that in here with my garlic. So as that heats up, it'll have all those seasonings already all on that garlic. So the other stuff that I've already prepped for tonight, and prepping only took me, I would say, to have everything set up just for this, probably about a half hour, 45 minutes. So this doesn't take too long, especially if you're getting everything ready and going ahead and putting it in your soup, maybe 20 minutes to cut everything unless you get it pre-cut. So this soup is what my daughter requested last week, Paige, and she's with her hubby. He just got home. He's been gone for Army training for about, I don't even know how many weeks, probably 10 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, something like that. So he is back, and so I do not blame her if she does not get on tonight. So we're going to go ahead and add our onion. I cut up one large onion. Now if you don't like a lot of onion, you can use smaller onions. A medium onion would be fine, or even just a half of one. Again, you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do. But we like onions, so I'm going to go ahead and add the full onion. And just give that a stir. Now our onions we're going to want to let cook down so that we don't have like a crunchy onion as you're eating your soup. You want your soup to be creamy and like to go down very well. You don't want to have to chew everything. That would just be a meal. So we're going to let that cook down. Turn that up just a little bit. Now here I also cut up one jalapeno. I took out the seeds. I can't do super hot, so I took out the seeds, and then I also have one bell pepper in here. And then in this one I have 2 celery stalks, and then a cup and a half of shredded carrots in there. Okay? And we'll put those in too so that we can get those to cook down a little bit. Now, if you like your stuff like crunchy, you can put it in the broth and just let it cook that way. I can smell that cumin. It smells so good. If you're not used to cooking with cumin, be careful with it. Make sure that you like it before you put a lot of it in it. It's a strong seasoning. So make sure that that's something that you like before you just go ahead and add it to it. So you want to make sure that you get all of that goodness off the bottom of your pan. Keep stirring it so that it doesn't stick or burn. It already smells like enchiladas. Welcome, Monica. How you doing, Mo? Mo, we're doing enchilada soup, but we're going to make it a creamy enchilada soup. And I'll go over everything that I'm using here in just a second again for people who are just now getting on. If you need to add a little bit more oil, go ahead and do that too. Sometimes you have to. So I'm going to add just a little bit more in here so nothing sticks or burns. You kind of have to eye that. If your onions are still not translucent, go ahead and add a little bit of more oil to it. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of avocado oil. I use avocado oil and olive oil here. I don't like to use any other type of oil. Thanks, Mo. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add my celery. Again, 2 stalks of celery, or 2 sticks. Shredded carrots. I added about, I think it was about a cup. And then 1 jalapeno with the seeds removed, cut up, and 1 green bell pepper. So we're going to get all those seasonings on these veggies. And again, sometimes you have to add just a little bit more oil. So I already added avocado oil and I knew I was going to need a little bit more. So this time I'm going to add my olive oil. Just probably about a teaspoon or so. I'll show you what it's starting to look like. You can smell it from there, Nadina. Thanks for coming, for joining us. It literally already is starting to smell like enchiladas. So once your onions have gotten to about translucent, I can't even talk tonight. Then go ahead and add your veggies. And for those who are just now getting on, what seasonings I used was ground coriander, oregano, dried oregano, a half a teaspoon of chili powder because I don't use a lot of chili powder, ground cumin. Again, if you don't like ground cumin, don't use a lot of this because it's very strong. Smoked paprika and onion powder, and these were all a teaspoon each. And then a teaspoon of the garlic powder. All right, now that those have softened a little bit, make sure that you get every ounce of goodness off the bottom of your pan. And usually you'll want it to soften a little longer, but because I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time, I'll go ahead and add my chicken broth. So I have 6 cups of chicken broth. And if you're making, just for you and your husband or you and your wife or whoever's on, you can halfen this and halfen like everything, of course. So you could do like 3 cups of chicken broth and not make a whole heck of a lot. Whoop, spilling it as well. I love doing live videos because then you guys get to see all my messes and my oopsies. All right, So we're gonna let that cook in there. Oh, some of my seasoning stuck on my spatula here. Soup is something that you really can't mess up, because if you get it too thick, just add more liquid. It's really not hard. That's probably why I can do it so well, because I can't mess it up. As you guys are thinking and watching, posting here what kind of cookies you guys want me to make and show you, because I will be starting my cookie series, not next week, but the following week. I'll probably do cookies and like, I don't know, maybe some simple holiday like appetizers or side dishes, things like that, that maybe you didn't think to have for Thanksgiving or Christmas or something like that. I'm doing a Friendsgiving, and I'm super excited about it. So I haven't done one since I lived up north. So that's exciting. All right, so while that's simmering, I'll show you what I made, guys. So here I made apple pie filling this week. Kyle said chocolate chip. Of course Kyle said that. And Jen, you're requesting peanut butter? I'm assuming. So here I made, yesterday I made, it's called an apple pie cinnamon bread. So it's a braided twist bread as apples are falling from it. And Buckeyes, yes, that's a good one. So this bread is really, really good. I just tried it because I just did apple butter and apple pie filling. So that's really good. And then I made jalapeno and cheddar and bacon bread. And this is what I'm going to use tonight for our bread bowl. Okay? So I made that. This bread I made today. But the other bread I made yesterday. So even though I'm not cooking for specific people, I try to make something every day. It gets my mind off of anything that's going on, any type of medical stuff that's happening. So I just, I absolutely love to cook and bake. And I think this week I'm going to try to make sweet and sour chicken and lo mein noodles. So that'll be fun. I've never made sweet and sour chicken. I've made orange chicken and things like that, but not sweet and sour chicken. So this is starting to come to a boil here shortly. It smells really good. So now we're going to add our other stuff. So we'll get this up here for you guys. So now I'm going to, you guys can add all your stuff any way you want to, really. He loves bacon. Yeah, I put smoked Gouda bacon in that jalapeno and cheddar bread. It is so good and it smells delightful. So, okay, back to the soup. So I had cut up and let set out at room temperature 1 block of cream cheese. And again, you don't have to add this if you don't want your soup creamy. You don't have to add the heavy whipping cream or the cream cheese. I like my soups creamy, but that's an option if you don't want it creamy, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and add that in slowly because this is now really, really hot. And we'll let that melt for just a minute or two. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this down since it holds a lot of heat in this pan, because it will still be rolling. And you'll start to see that start turning a little more beige, and then once we put the heavy whipping cream, it'll turn more white and creamy. Also, you guys, if you don't like chicken, you can use Italian sausage. Sometimes Eric doesn't like chicken, or if I make too much chicken throughout the week, because I could eat chicken every day, chicken or fish. But you can also put in Italian sausage. That has a really good flavor. It would mesh good with this. So it's totally up to you. But that's, again, another great part of making soups. You can add whatever meat you want to it. You don't always have to have chicken enchilada or chicken noodle. You can add Italian sausage or steak and noodles. Totally up to you. I don't know how it would taste, but that's okay. All right, so this is starting to turn creamy, and I'll show it to you. It is boiling. So it's already starting to turn creamy, okay? And again, I'm gonna try to turn this down quite a bit because again, for some reason, this oven likes to hold that heat in just this one side. All right, so now I'm gonna add my heavy whipping cream. And hopefully that'll cool it down enough so it's not boiling over again. And I added 2 cups of that. And again, this is how you get your soup to be creamier. All right, now that we've got that, I'll show you the rest. So I don't like just regular corn. I use the fire roasted corn. It's got a lot of flavor and it's super, super good. So we're gonna add 1 can of that. I've already drained it. We're also gonna add, I use Bush's, the seasoned recipe of the black beans, and that is 1 can, and most of the cans that you find are about 15 ounces. I'm pretty sure this one is too. This is 14.75, 15 ounces. So 15 ounces, and I'm gonna leave a little bit of the liquid in there. I'm not gonna drain it all because it'll give it a little bit more thickness. And it's got all that flavor in it. It's not just regular black beans. Oh, there's my scooper. And of course all the flavorings at the bottom, that's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna give that a stir. And then we'll add the other stuff. Guys, this smells so good. And look, I always make so much. So if you want to come over and grab yourself a bowl, come eat tonight. So I do have leftovers. Every single time I have leftovers. All right. Now we are going to add the Old El Paso red enchilada sauce. Okay? 1 can of that, and that is 10 ounces. We got a lot of flavors going on right now, guys. And then we are going to add 10 ounces, and I have the diced tomatoes and green chilies. I just have the Rotel brand. Okay? And give it a stir again. This looks just like what you would see inside an enchilada. Okay, so we'll let that thicken up just a little bit. Now, I have probably 3 cups of the rotisserie chicken. I lost my train of thought there for a second. So we're gonna add that too. See, I have it on low and it's still like boiling. So let's add our chicken. I just shredded it all up because I worked today and I didn't have time to cook my chicken breast. So, but you can cook chicken breast and just cut that up if you'd rather have chicken breasts. So I just ease that in there. Give it a good stir. I probably should have used my big pan, but that's okay. I'll show you guys the colors here. I love the colors of this soup. It looks so fall. I'll have to bring you closer to it because I am not spilling this all over me. It looks so beautiful. Here, I'll show you guys. Look how beautiful that looks, guys. So we're just gonna let that simmer. Don't look at my stove too closely. And let that cook up a little bit. Here we go. This is going to go really good in that bread bowl. So Eric asked me, he said, what kind of soup are you making? And I said, chicken enchilada, creamy chicken enchilada soup. He goes, are you going to make the bread bowl again? He really, really liked that bread bowl last week. So I told him, yes, yes I did. I just turned that off so it can calm down a little bit. It's a little bit on the spicy end. All right, so I'm gonna add cheese to it. At this point, you don't have to add cheese, but again, we are a cheese-eating family, so we add cheese to just about everything. I did smoked bacon with, smoked Gouda with bacon, and I'll show you what, I got it at Publix, but you know I like my Gouda, so when I found the smoked Gouda with bacon, I jumped on it. So it is Yancey's, I want to say, yeah. So yeah, your smoked Gouda is a little bit more on the expensive side. You only get like a little chunk for $8. But again, so worth it. Okay? All right. So, and then I also shredded up some sharp cheddar and some white sharp cheddar and orange sharp cheddar. So we're going to add all that in there. And you want to make sure that you you shred it real finely so it melts really well. And I always use fresh cheese because if I get cheese from a package that's already been shredded, it doesn't melt the same. So I always go to the deli and get fresh cheese and go that route, because you'll be able to taste a huge difference when you're making soups or stuff like that. So again, we'll let that simmer. So this is going to be like more of like a smoked enchilada, because I use the smoked paprika and not just regular paprika. So those are some of the different things that I do to make my soup taste just slightly different than probably most. Now, if you don't like a smoky flavor, just use regular paprika. That's starting to thicken up quite a bit. Okay. So I have some toppings here that, oh, I forgot to add in my sun-dried tomatoes, you guys. Nobody reminded me. So you just add a few of those in there. If you don't want to, you don't have to. This is just a touch that I like to add. Just gives it a little extra flavor. Okay. So as far as your toppers, I have some cilantro, scallions, and avocado that I cut up to put on top. I also have sour cream. Eric does not like sour cream, so he will not be having sour cream on top of his. But those are some toppers. You can add extra cheese if you want to. Totally up to you. Or you don't have to have toppers at all. You can just eat it just like that. And one serving, I would say, would probably be like, one serving of this soup would be probably about $5. So you could feed your whole family. So I made all of this. If you already have all the seasonings, you don't have to buy that. But like the cans were no more than $2 a piece. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. Scallions were $1. Cilantro was $1. The avocado was 50 cents. So like that stuff that that adds up. Honestly, again, the soup could is probably under $10 that you could make for your whole family. And this will probably feed probably about 8 to 10 people, just this pan right here. I fed, last week I made the same size pan and I gave away 6 orders, and then me and Eric, and we still had leftovers. So it feeds a lot of people for very little. Now you don't have to do the smoked Gouda, that adds extra to it, but even if you add cheese to it, no more than $15, you guys, for all of this. All right, let's cut our bread. Hey Joe, welcome. Watch American. Okay, so I baked our bread. It's still a bit warm. We're gonna cut and dig our bread out and put our soup in our bread, okay? So this bread, like I said, I put the smoked Gouda, or smoked Gouda with bacon. I put all of that in this jalapeno and cheddar bread, and it turned out really, really good. Whoop. It's very crispy. I'm hoping, because I did not cut into it, I'm hoping it's done and I don't embarrass myself in front of everybody. So last week, again, I'm doing the bread bowl again because Eric really enjoyed the bread bowl last week. So we're gonna do it again. I'm gonna cut some of this off so then we can add that to the top as far as another topper. That's very cheesy. So let me grab a bowl real quick. Oh, I'll just grab this one, the cheese bowl. And we're just gonna pull some of this out so that we can add our soup into it, okay? But you don't want to throw it away because it's all that cheesy goodness and jalapeno goodness in there. So you can use it as like, in place of like croutons or, you know what I mean, something inside your soup. Or you can make stuffing with it later, guys. That's a good idea. But Eric liked to put it in it, so I just put it on the side for him. So when I make a loaf of bread, I made enough that it made 2 of these bowls. So I said it last week, but I probably make bread about every day, a new bread every day. And I got a really good idea. If you guys have good ideas, send me ideas. I have a couple friends who always come up with different ideas. And I had Erica who came up with, because I made a Biscoff cheesecake and took it to one of my farms today for our luncheon. And she mentioned a pina colada dessert. I'm going to have to try something like that. Pager, you're on! I'm so happy. Paige, we're doing another bread bowl here. This is the jalapeno bread. You will be getting this in your package. Okay? So, let's dust some of this off here. So our soup should be about done. Let's see. It's really thickening up. I turned it off for a little bit because it was rolling and I didn't want it to boil over, so I'm going to turn it back on just a little bit to heat that back up a little bit. But it's still steaming quite a bit. So we're going to add that to our bread bowl. And I dug this out quite a bit, guys. Like, I got quite a bit of bread out of that. Here's my extra. So we're going to add this in there. The plate won't look so pretty, but that's okay. It's what's inside the soup is what counts, right? All right, guys. So if you're making this for your hubby, Paige, or Joe, or whoever all is on, you always want your presentation to be like, wow. So I always make sure I wipe my plates off with a clean paper towel. Because you can have this wonderful, wonderful meal, and if you just slopped it on a plate, they're going to be like, ew, that doesn't look so good. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure your presentation is just as good as your food. So I'm going to add a little bit of this extra jalapeno bread right on top as like a crumble as I spill it all over my kitchen floor. And then I'm going to add just a few pieces of avocado. Eric likes avocados, so I'm going to give him a couple thin pieces here. Maybe. You don't want your avocado too thick. Otherwise it kind of is overpowering. So we'll cut another one in half here. Okay. And then I'm going to add some scallions on it. Because we all know Eric loves his scallions. And then just a little bit of cilantro. And I cut up fresh cilantro. I don't like the dried cilantro, it doesn't taste the same. And again, you can add sour cream if you want to, but for his, I will not. And then your topper again. And there it is, guys. There's your creamy chicken enchilada soup in a bread bowl. So next week is my last week for the soup series. Let me know what you guys want for your last soup series video. And then we go into our holiday series, which will be cookies and side dishes and things like that. So I can't wait till we do our Friendsgiving, Jen. And I have a couple other couples that are coming, and super excited about that. So let me know what you guys want me to make in my next series, okay? Thank you everybody for watching. I truly appreciate everyone. And watch me next week on Friday at 7 o'clock. Thanks guys. Have a good night and a good weekend.